Alright, hello YouTube modeling community. This is part, we'll call it part 3 and 4. These are the stages where we did a final sanding, rewashed everything, got it all dry, got it all ready to be primed. Now keep in mind, a lot of little parts I hand paint. It's just something I enjoy to do. To me, there's nothing like getting, a little part and painting it like these little sway bars. If I airbrush this, it's a better finish, but, I got to clip onto something. Sorry guys, the compressor's going to be kicking on, and as soon as I turn the spray booth on, it's going to get even louder. So it's just as easy for me to clip on this and brush paint this and then detail paint whatever I need to do as far as the nuts and bolts or anything like that. But I personally enjoy hand painting a lot of the stuff. And again, you can just remember, when you paint, your brush strokes should all go in one direction. We'll shut this off until we're ready to paint. So, when you're painting little fiddly parts or whatever, if you brush paint them, always go in one direction. When you come back to do the second coat, you come back and go the opposite direction, but all your brush strokes should be in the same direction. That the paint will level out and won't show as many brush strokes if you're just, slapping the paint on it. And those parts are so small, you can't really tell anyways. But we've got a lot to airbrush. We'll probably go through about half of this for this video, and then I'll finish the other half off camera, just so the video is not 800 minutes long. But after today, everything will be primed. We will pause for 5 minutes. This video is probably going to be about half an hour, maybe a little bit more, but we're going to prime it and we're going to give it the 5 minutes between coats. We're going to check the body for any imperfections that I missed, or if any of them are even going to be, hamper the actual finished product. I've kind of gone over it with a fine-tooth comb, and I think we're golden. These Premier kits or Pro Modeler kits they're excellent. I mean, the detail is perfect. Hardly any flash. Dry fitting everything. Everything fits really good. I had a little tiny gap in the back, but once I wet sand to get ready to go to paint, that's when I'll do a little filler in there and sand it down, and we'll just paint. It's not a big gap, but it is, a tiny one, and I'll show it to you here before we even primer it. So let me turn you around real quick, and you can there's the primer. We're using the Splash 1K light gray. Like I said, the roof will be black, so once we're done with that, then we'll mask everything off and spray the roof, then cover that up, and then spray the body. I am waiting on tape. It should be here tomorrow, so I won't be able to go anywhere with it today. I do probably have enough to do that, but I got some special stuff coming. So you can see all my little parts I put on alligator clips or little clamps, whatever I have. The big pieces I kind of hold and paint, and when it vapes out and dries a little bit, then I can flip it around and hold it the other way and spray the other half. But this is everything we got to get, primed, including the body and then the hoods underneath there. So let me get everything turned back on, and we'll get some painting going. just keep in mind that, sorry for the camera jumping around, this is kind of a tight workspace, and trying to set up a tripod is really difficult. It's right there. But hopefully you'll be able to see me paint everything. Give it a good shake again. At the end of the video, I'll show you the color the body's going to be, or basically what it'll be. Always keep a rag handy. Trusty paint rag. And then I test my airbrush, make sure if there's any junk down at the end, it's going to get sprayed up before I start putting it on the body. And this is just a mist coat, and we're not doing anything super heavy. I always start at the bottom. I stay about 4 or 5 inches away. I get those wheel wells. They're at the bottom of my stand. And I always get inside the, you see it there, up inside the wheel well. That way if you ever look at it underneath, the paint or the color of the body will be up underneath there too. Okay, so now I got all my, got one side, just a light coat. Now we're going to do the other side. Get up in that A pillar a little bit, down the back side of the B pillar. And the first half of the roof, and then we'll get the back side. And this is where that gap was, up in here. You can see it. I got it pulled in pretty good. I clamped the body, but depending on how it looks after the primer. I may have to come back and do a little more work on it. So now I can hit the roof. Finish out the trunk there. And anywhere I know that I did more body work prior to priming, I'll go ahead and put a little heavier spot there because I'm going to sand it out anyways. Spray, and by a light mist coat like this, by the time I get around this body, it's dry, and I can come back and put my final layers on everything. And I still got to get up underneath here first because this will be visible. You can kind of see engine compartment's enough for now. A little bit there. I'll spray that cowl. Top of the fenders. And then I'll bring it down. Then I come back and finish out and right now I'm about 3 inches away. That way that first coat is still a light coat because I'm only putting 28 psi. And I know this will give me what I want as far as be able to find any more blemishes or anything like that. Get inside those panel lines. And then just come back and finish out the body. Always going, right to left or left to right. Top of the fender. Down. All the way and finish it out. Whatever area you're working on, finish that out. Then come back. Then you can do your D-pillar up first half of the roof. On the other side, B-pillar, that half of the roof, around hit the front of your windshield, and then finish out the roof. And then the trunk deck. And then I just kind of look it over real quick, up close, and I can see where I need a little bit more to finish out that first coat. that's it, guys. Then we'll let that set for about 5 minutes. I always do the bottom side of the hood first. It'll only get one good coat. Then I'll come back where my finger is holding it and I'll touch that up. So, you can kind of see just a very light coat, but it's going to be enough that's going to make everything pop. You know, out of that. Same way as the hood. Even though that's the bottom side, I won't have to do nothing with it. But it will get painted body color first, so I want a good coat of primer on that. All these little parts you see here, they're all suspension parts, interior parts, chassis, interior tub, and core support, so on and so forth. There's the K member. We'll scoot back here out of the way. I've already dry fit since we got these aftermarket wheels he sent with it, just to see. Now these just sitting in the tubs, they fit within the body. I don't have to modify or anything else. And for the height, for the stock fitting of the rear leaf springs, the rear differential, it lines up dead nut center on the wheel. So there's not going to be any issues. Boom, fit right in. The front ones, I will put the nose down a little bit, so I'll probably adjust the height in the front. It is steering, or opposable steering, so I'll probably have to drill the spindles out and repin them to hold the front wheels. I'll show you how I do all that though when I get to that. That'll be when we're putting the suspension in. Like I said, the rear is going to go in just like if I was using the kit wheels, so there's not going to be anything really to show you there. But when we go to do the front, I'll show you how I do that and everything else. That'll just be a little segment, maybe with a couple other little things. While that's drying enough to get it out and handle it and look at it, you see I buy these little plastic tubs. I think I get them at Kroger's, any grocery store. They're just little storage containers, but they're great when you're doing 3 and 4 builds like I do, to keep all your parts in. That way if any little part, it stays down in here and I don't lose it on my desk. You know, it's just a good little thing. It was like $3 and I got like, I don't know, a dozen of them or more. Might have been 2 dozen. And they have little lids, so you know, they're good just to keep parts in. And then I buy a bunch of these, like Hobby Lobby. You get like 4 of these for like $6, $7. They're great to put all your little parts in. Like all my engine parts are in one. And I've got the transmission over here, the radiator, you know, all that stuff. That way then when I'm ready, you know, these have already been washed, cleaned up, and they're ready to go. And like I said, I hand paint all these little parts. And then I put a varnish over them, whether I want a matte finish, semi-gloss, gloss, whatever it is. Take you over here to the mixing area and show you. So this black here will be the vinyl top, and it comes out a nice matte finish, and I'll use a matte clear over that. And then once that's all dry, then I can mask off over the roof and start spraying the color on the body. These are the 2 colors I'm using for the body. This will not be the yellow. I'm going to use probably like 2 parts yellow and 1 part white. I'll probably start with a half a part and mix it and see the shade of yellow I have, and then maybe go the other half if I don't like that. I'm going to try to stay real close to the color of the box art, which you can see there. I mean, it's a bright yellow, but it's not that yellow. I've put this up to the box, and this is a lot brighter than what's on there, so I want to tone it down. but this will get 2K clear over this when I'm done, and this will just get this matte finish over this the vinyl top. It'll make it look like it's been, you know, armor oiled, cleaned up, just factory look to it. And again, this is the clear I use. There's the numbers. I'll spill that. This will go over the water-based paints, perfect lacquer paints. I've not tried it on the enamels. I'm sure it'll probably just chew an enamel paint job up. But you know, that's pretty much where I'm at. I mean, by the end of the day today, I'll have everything primered that I need primered, and then it's just a matter of going through and wet sanding everything down that I can wet sand, and then I'll put the final coats of primer on the body. I only put one little coat on all the little fiddly parts. It just doesn't need a lot of primer on it. So one good heavy coat on all the little parts, and I'm golden. And then the body will get probably another 3 or 4 coats of primer on it by the time I'm said and done. And then it'll get wet sanded with 3000, all one direction. We'll do that and we'll show you. And then we'll be ready for color. So probably next week's video, probably Tuesday, will be the wet sanding of the body, getting it ready for paint, and then the modifications I make to the front suspension to drop the nose down a little bit. I'm not going for the super rake. I'm going for just the slight rake. You know, I mean, you would notice it, especially on the stance that it's going to have, and then the tires will turn left or right. So with the tires turned in that stance, it's going to look really killer. And that's what we're going through. I'm waiting for, because I dropped the diff cover down in the sink. Took the sink apart, it wasn't in the P-trap, so it went all the way down. So I'm waiting on Jay to respond to my text. So hopefully he's got 2 or 3 or 4 of these kits, so he'd get me a diff cover sent out. It can be the last piece we put on, you know, because it's accessible when it's just a cover, and I can hand paint it, let it dry, and we'll pop it on. So I think we've got enough time here. I always test in an area that I know is going to be, you know, more work done to it, which is in this case is the vinyl roof. It's dry to touch. If you notice on all my Tamiya stands, whatever you want to call it, I'm set. There's my settings. You can see where the pins are. I find these work the best for every type of body, truck, car, whatever. I mean, it's for me. But you saw me flipping it around and painting the body, and the body doesn't fly off. And once I have them in there, then I take zip ties and I go around them, and it keeps them in place. And I have 2 of these, and then I have a homemade one I use that's set to these standards. And I first got this thing, I dropped 2 bodies painting it. So somebody told me about this little trick. It was a long time ago, so I don't remember who it was, but you know, putting those little zip ties in there keeps these from popping out of the stand, or you know, giving way and then let the body come off. There's just enough tension to keep that body on there, no matter how I'm doing it. You know, my worst thing is bumping into something when I'm flipping it around. Even though that spray booth is 2 feet by 2 feet square, it's still tight over here, and I'm a big guy, so it's, you know, I'm almost 6'5", and I weigh like 272, no, 268. So, you know, I'm a big guy, and even though I got a big workspace, it's still, I've done this where I can just spin in my chair and be working here, spin back around, I can be working there, I can spin over here and work on the 3D printer. Everything's set up to me, to my, you know, the way I like to move, the flow of everything. As my good friend Lee says, you know, the zen of everything. It's zen. It accommodates me for how I like to move around. I don't want to get up and go over here you know, even though the idea seems really nice to have a separate workspace over here, I don't want to go because I'm bouncing back and forth constantly. So this is perfect. I can be working here for a few minutes. I can turn around and work on wife's choice. I can turn around and work on the 3D printer and not move. I mean, you call it lazy, you call it what it is, but it flows very nice and it's very efficient. And that's when you're working on 3 or 4 projects at a time. Efficiency is key, and not be moving here and moving there and all that. I don't like that. But again, you know, it's what works for me. But this is a great tip. So if you guys got a Tamiya stand and you're using it, you know, you can see, you know, those zip ties keep it locked in these positions. Now I can move these to a different position if I'm doing something on a wider ball, like a 1/20th scale, or, you know, whatever. I can pull these pins out and adjust it, and then the zip tie still hold them in those little holes there where they need to be. So I advise you to, if you haven't already, you know, do something like this. I mean, you could even do it with string, I guess, or whatever, but these little cheap zip ties, you get a bag of them at Harbor Freight for, you know, a couple of bucks, and they're perfect. I use the little, right here, these tiny little zip ties, I put around the wheel when I'm chroming them, and then I clamp on to the end of it. And let me show you real quick. And then you put it through there. I don't have a wheel ready, but, you know, fit that around the wheel and pull it tight. And then I put my clamp on here and it holds the wheel while I chrome the wheel. So, you know, there's no one's junk now, but, you know, there's tons of things to do. Now let me get my old man specs on, and I'm going to go over this body here real quick. And believe it or not, even for a light coat like this, if I did get a little dirt on the top, my fingers won't take it off. That's how thin the primer is. So I know, you know, I can blow this body back off and go ahead and finish with my primer. I don't sand in between layers of primer. I only sand once I've gotten the 4 or 5 coats on, because I don't want to. The only time I would is if I got a bunch of junk in here or there's an imperfection, then I'd sand it through. But looking at this, we're golden, people. I mean, that sprayed perfect. There's no flaws. Nice clean. And you guys can see it for yourself. Just, you know, there's some light spots where you can see the styrene through the primer, but like I said, first coat, you know, this is where you go back and you check and see if you did any body work, like down in these panel lines. You can see how clean my panel lines are. You know, so I know I don't have to do anything. I can put it right back on the stand, and I'll take my trusty little rag and I'll just kind of wipe it off. And I'm going to blow the body, and then I'll spray the rest of it. So I'm going to put it back in there, that way it doesn't collect any dust. We got about 2 minutes. I've got a paint order coming in tomorrow for my, I don't say it's my favorite, but as far as lacquer paints go, I'm not a lowrider guy, but I know you guys are familiar with House of Color. You know, this company here, Tropical Blitz, they've taken over, you know, all of House of Color. If you go on their website, you'll see they got a whole section of just House of Color colors that were the most popular. And I believe Manny Martinez. I'll put that up there. You guys can write that down, copy it. He's a great guy. He pays it forward all the time. You know, he's another one that I'm not sponsored by him. You know, I don't get paid for this, but you know, he's a guy that I saw his products starting to come out, and because I really wanted a bunch of House of Color paints. I seen everybody using them. The lowrider guys loved them. You know, they had all the candy and the pearls, the metal flake you can put in either the clear coat or in with the paint, and get those, you know, fantastic paint jobs. That's art in itself. Those lowrider models. I'm not even going to attempt it. Well, I can't say I'm not. I want to build one, and I want to do, you know, that truck's going to have a little on the roof of it, but I want to do a full-blown lowrider build. I've just not mustered up the courage yet to do it. But if you guys get a chance, go check out, you know, Tropical Eclipse. This big bottle, this is $16, but I mean, it's 4 ounces of paint. It's ready to spray. I mean, you just got to shake it, of course, but this is what, you know, you use for the base of any candies or pearls. This is galactic silver. You know, and they've got just regular colors too, but I mean, a whole line of beautiful paint. And if you're like me, I like to be different. I don't like to do 5 orange paint jobs or, you know, 5 red paint jobs. I kind of like to make all my models kind of different. At least a different shade of red or orange, or, you know, two-tone. But, you know, it's a great company. It's a great product. This stuff sprays unbelievably. I mean, and I stay steady between 26 and 28 psi. So, you know, that's just another company I give a shout out to. It's just because I like their product. There's a lot of guys I know that do use it, and, you know, not said anything bad about it. And this has been here for about a year, and I've used it once. You know, one time on the two-tone I was telling you about, this 65 Fus Impala. This is one of the colors. I just used it, and then I two-toned another color. But it's, you know, I can't say it's comparable to Splash, Gravity, or, you know, any of the others. But as far as lacquers go, it's high quality. I mean, guys out there that are, you know, painting motorcycle gas tanks, welding helmets, fenders, all that stuff. I mean, they're doing it, buddy. This is what they're using, most of them. This and Createx. You know, this is lacquer. Createx is water-based. The paints are comparable as far as colors and what you can do with them, and, you know, everything else. But I really like the Tropical Eclipse. And yeah, I would love to be sponsored by them and have them send me at least the baseline of colors, because, you know, I can't say nothing more about them. I love them. I actually like them better than Splash. I'm looking to step up into a automotive grade primer where I don't have to buy little bottles of Splash. I like Splash primer. I like the way it lays down. And I know they're, you know, Tamiya primers, you can mix them and spray them. They lay down nice too, because I've done that before. But as far as, you know, the balling on the budget part, I'd rather buy quantity and have the quality of what I would get in a little jar for, you know, it just lasts me a lot longer. I don't have to spend as much money, and maintain the, you know, the level of quality I like. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know it's kind of hard to see. Like I said, I am a big guy and it's hard to film. I'm going to get a rig to set up on top of my spray booth and have it angled down, which will eliminate the camera being in my way, and I'll be able to see what you guys see, and so on and so forth. But I got to build. I'm going to have to make that mount. I do have the piece. I just got to get it mounted up here and kind of dry run it and see how it films. And you'll get a better quality view of what I'm doing inside the spray booth. But we will take you through each step. You know, if I got to modify something, I'm going to stop and I'll do the little segment with wherever we're at. And so Tuesdays will be me, you know, basically getting prepped and ready for the first color, which will be the vinyl roof. We may even, you know, I may start the wet sanding first and then show you how I wet sand. Then we'll dry it off and blow it off, and then we'll do the we'll mask it off and do the roof. and then if I'm ready for the front suspension, we'll do that. If not, that'll be on Thursdays. But I'm going to show you guys everything I do, how I do it, all the way through this build. The other thing is, this is the stock exhaust, and we will be using everything from here up. The H-pipe, we'll be using the mufflers. He sent a set of aftermarket Flowmasters. They're a little shorter than these, so we'll clip them here and file them down and drill those out, and we'll put these on, and then I'll hand bend solder to match these and run them out, and then we'll retrofit the exhaust tips that come with it. They're chrome, onto the end of the solder, and I use that with that Zap It glue, because it's put a little drop and hold that tip on there and hit it with the light, and it's golden. So that'll be modified. Like I said, the front suspensions will be modified just a hair. I can show you this real quick too. I already modified the air cleaner. When you're using these aluminum air cleaners, they're not drilled out on the bottom, so it sits over. So I mic'd the diameter of the carb. I mean, you can see the detail. Look at the detail on that carb. It's all there. Even the Venturis, everything's visible on this thing. So all I did was just drill out the bottom of the air cleaner. Whoa, fiddly parts. Just enough that I drop it on the floor and lose it forever. That it's beveled out enough. I get it here without it falling off again. That it sits right on the carburetor. Now I won't glue this on because of the fact that there's so much detail on the carb. If Jay was to take this to a show, he'd be able to take the air cleaner off and set it to the side, and then you'd see all that, the detail. That'll get painted like it's supposed to be, black washed, to pull all that internal detail out. So you don't want to cover that up. I mean, I don't. So, and I don't think Jay would either, so I beveled that out just so that'll sit on there nice and level. So if he just wants the hood off, the air cleaner will sit on there just like that. And I'll use my polisher and I'll polish this up, get it smooth and shiny again. Underneath there's some scratches, so I'll get all those out. That'll take a little work. I'll do that off camera. But I've got that ready to go. Like I said, I did a little shopping in my own store here and got some parts that I'm going to add to it. And then all the stuff he sent me is all in this container so I don't lose them. I showed you the other container. We showed you the paint. Again, these are 23s. These are Steven Zimmerman wheels. We will change the center color. Blue is not going to fly with this. So we'll probably make those black. That's what I'm figuring. Everything's already kind of been black washed around the lug nuts to make them stand out, so I'm not going to do anything more with those. Pretty much sand the tires down, scuff them up, and when we come back, you'll see I'll have the rear suspension already in place, the drive shaft sitting in place. The engine should be built and painted and in the chassis. I'll build the top half of the engine and the detail from there before we marry it with the body. So we're gonna call it quits here, guys. Like I said, I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you get something out of this. Thumbs up, thumbs down, hit the bell notifications. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It's not costing you anything. We got a lot of great things coming. As I get things in, and as far as filming and editing, the videos are going to get better. I'm learning as I go here. I know some of it's not that good, and a lot of people, I think like the analytics, people are watching like 7 minutes. That's the average. And I'm putting out 30, 40-minute videos. But I really don't care about those analytics so much, now anyways. Maybe down the road, but right now I don't. A lot of you guys have said you like the longer videos. I don't think I've gotten close to an hour one. I don't think I'll ever go over that unless we do a live. But if there's something special you guys want to see, a certain kit built, drop it down in the comments and let me know, and I'll look and see if I have that kit. If not, maybe it's something I can discuss with Mark, and we can get that kit in, and we can review it and open box it and build it, and we'll see how it all goes. I'm pretty much open to anything. You guys get a chance, hit those links down there, go check out Ryan Jones' stuff at C-Force Model Works. Hobby Nut Models link will be down there. Go there, pick you up some model kits, supplies, some MCW paints. We're getting ready to try those out when we start the ramp truck. So I'm going to play with them a little bit off camera and spray a little bit and see what formula works for me and what the best results I get out of it. And that's what I'll use from there on out. So again, guys, hit all those links. You're helping me. It's going to help you guys in the long run. And anything you want to see, just leave it down in the comments. We'll see you Friday for the update on Wife's Choice, and that'll be the end. Everything else pretty much will be done off camera, and I'll show you that final update and the final assembly in a video when we get to that. That will probably be the following Friday. Like I said, it'll probably take me an extra week to get everything done. But till Friday, you guys be safe. Build a model. Got any questions? You can always contact me via email. Be glad to answer anything I can. This is Rusty Rotor, guys. I'm out.